I want to share a message with you all. And here is the thing, I had this message in my heart to share actually the day after I recorded the victory word because, and I love transparency when I am sharing, being of service in that capacity. And so I had someone message me and say, I heard you and I always hear you. And I really I want to do what you said in that word. But this particular fire feels too painful. It feels too raw. It is about my life. It is about my health. And I cannot I can't find it in me to rejoice. And I ended up in that moment saying what I have really always said, because that's a fair statement. That's a fair statement for anybody to be dealing with something and say, I heard you, but I really can't. There's this sickness, I can't take care of my children, I can't take care of myself, this pain, family members, grief, whatever this thing is. I heard you, but this particular thing, I can't rejoice in this. Then I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to admonish you with this instruction. And that is, if you cannot rejoice in the fire, you have to renounce the fire. You have to renounce it. You have to, with all the feelings that you feel, the pain, the fear, being overwhelmed, being sick and tired of being sick and tired. You have to renounce that fire. You have to speak out of your mouth with as much boldness as you have that this thing will not kill. I'm not going to die here. It's not going to take, you're not going to destroy me. This situation, this experience, this feeling. And as I was thinking that, I'm going to tell you about an experience. I'm not even just speaking this right now in this moment from a place of encouragement. I'm speaking this from an actual testimony. And because I had this message days ago, but then I'm going to tell you something that happened to me. So early this morning, my dad called me, and as soon as he started to talk, first of all, it was very early. He doesn't call me very early. And there was a tremor in his voice. And he had several months ago, he'd had a bad case of vertigo. And for me, when I look at anything in the body, I'm always looking at it from a place of dis-ease and dysregulation. Unless it's an injury, I very rarely agree that it structurally starts in the body. I'm always going for what is happening internally. And so he'd been going through a lot, and he's just up in age, and he was just, I think that when you get to a certain point in life, and I don't think you have to be that old, I just think the life that you live catches up with you, and that's when your body just starts to show the wear and tear that society calls aging. Nevertheless, that's what I think. He got past the vertigo, and then he was feeling this kind of sensation, and he said it was scaring him. And he was talking about having it come and go. And as long as I have known my dad, he's had diabetes, and he still doesn't have the very best diet. And so as he is explaining it, he says, you got to come right now. So first of all, I'm 8 hours away, and my dad lives on a farm with all of his brothers and his sisters. And so if he was in a life or death situation, the expectation wouldn't be that I could literally get to him first. Even on a flight, I couldn't get to him first. And so I knew that was a lot of the fear talking. And so immediately, and even after this was over, I had to thank God, but I had to calm him down. And I don't normally do this, but I just kind of Googled his symptoms, and it was some nerve stuff. It was some nerve damage, which is what diabetes does. And my dad is notorious for, on a daily basis, falling asleep on the couch and just all the things. And so as I just started to speak to him and just say, Daddy, you're okay. You're okay. I know. And I didn't want to dismiss his fear, and I didn't want to dismiss what he was going through, because I'm not an MD. I'm not a doctor. And so as we talked, And where he is and where I am right now are both under weather advisories. So it still didn't make sense for me to try to attempt to go to where he was. And so once he started to calm down, he was okay. And so he's been having issues with his phone, and he called me a little bit, and I was going to I was waiting on him to decide stuff about a phone, and he decided. So we had talked later on after that. Like that was like 7 o'clock, and then we had talked around maybe 2 o'clock, and he decided on the phone, and I ordered the phone for him, and it's getting shipped to his house, and he sounded fine. And so a little bit later, he had called, and I had missed the call, and his phone is like not keeping charges, like dying. And so I tried to call back, and it kept going to voicemail. And immediately, fear, it just was like being caught in a rainstorm. It just swept over me. And I just kept calling. And I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, so maybe he had to call me. Maybe the phone is now dead, but it's okay. Like, it's okay. And I could not, I got up, I tried to shake it off, do all the stuff I do for my own self. And I could not shake that fear. And immediately I started to get angry. I started to get angry at the fear. I started to get angry at that, because even after this, even from this morning, I had already spoken a word of health over my dad. And I had already decided that I was really going to talk to him and double down on what he was eating and some vitamins for him. And so it was so much fear. And when I tell y'all, I literally I just went crazy with that fear. Not the situation. I said a couple of times, I was like, my daddy's okay. My daddy's okay. He's okay. He's okay. But that fear, that thing, that was the thing. That literal spirit of fear, I just, and I really wanted to scream, but I couldn't because I didn't want to spook the girls. But when I tell y'all, I was just saying, to that fear, you're a liar. There's no truth in you. You don't mean anything. You're not proof that something has happened. I was speaking directly to the fear, my fear. And I kid y'all not, I actually was getting ready to make a post because I started to feel so encouraged. And in the midst of that moment, my daddy called. And he said, I called, and then this crazy phone died, and I had to go try to find that charger and it was, for me, I was more excited, not that he called, but that for me, for my head and my heart, there was proof in that moment of the power and authority that I have in the midst of how I was feeling, because I did not feel faith. I was not rejoicing. It was like I could not catch my breath, literally. And so I just want to, again, admonish you. I want to, with everything in me, tell you that whatever situation that you are finding yourself in, and you feel like the walls are caving in, that you can't catch your breath, that this feels like the end of the rope, that indeed it may not be instantaneous, and it may be, but you have not just the authority, but you have the power to speak to the heaviness, to whatever it is you're feeling, and tell those feelings, tell that thought, tell that fear, you're not the truth. You don't matter here. You're not evidence that this thing is going to get the best of me. And if you can't rejoice in the fire, I'm speaking to you, friend, to 100% renounce the fire.